Hi Augustana, I'm Pastor Intern Michael, and I'm here today because I'd like to share some of my thoughts about stewardship and my faith and how that has come into my life and how I still practice doing that. When I started thinking about my stewardship and giving in particular, I kind of was reminded of when I was a young boy, and at that time I used to have actually two piggy banks. I had one piggy bank that I would use for church, and the other piggy bank was for my regular savings. And through the course of the week, I would usually get a few coins for an allowance and spread that money between my piggy banks. But the biggest one was making sure that I always gave to my church piggy bank first. And that still kind of carries on with me today. But remembering back, I would usually go to church every Sunday, and before doing that, of course, I would empty my piggy bank, and usually I had, like I say, a few coins in there because my church piggy bank would basically be filled and emptied every week. And we were fortunate to live just a block away from church, so with excitement we would walk to church, and once it was time for the offering, we usually sat in front also, so when I put my couple of coins, or maybe on a given week, one coin in the plate, it always looked like such a small amount. But what I noticed all the time was as that plate worked its way through the whole church, it suddenly became almost overflowing with everyone's offerings. And I realized that even my little bit was part of the big giving, which kind of leads right into our ripple effect of faith right here, and how even my one little coin was kind of like that pebble in the pond, creating that ripple. So over the years, it's always been important for me to make sure that my giving relates to the church in a real way that has me involved in that. And part of that, again, is making sure that God receives my first return of generosity. And I've really felt over the years that God has been very generous with me, and it's difficult to count all of those blessings. So as I matured and grew up, I usually tried to have a same principle with my giving, and taking into account my family giving in the current sense is a decision that my whole family is involved in. We like to sit down and work a simple budget every year, and in that we always make sure that our first gift is our gift returning to God. And part of that is the fact that our family has received many generous gifts, many blessings, and it's part of what I like to think of our family of faith and how we kind of operate together. And in giving, we give out of our abundance, and we look at that as a gift. It's a gift that keeps giving and giving, sometimes what we call is paying forward. But for me, that gift is one that is just always exciting to share. So basically my goal every year is to try to give 10% of our income right off the top. And raising 3 children and having all of a house and things like that, obviously that takes some planning. And we sit down and plan this accordingly because it is very important to us. And part of our faith and our faith journey is to make sure that out of our giving we see and are part of that church and what we do. So then with that, it's always important to me that our giving is intentional in the sense that we have decided what financial gifts we are giving, and in return, how those benefit the other people. And I've been fortunate in my short time here so far at Augustana to see the effects of a lot of this giving, and it's really great to be a part of that, especially when you consider and when our family looks at giving out of abundance and not out of scarcity. And I know sometimes talking about finances and money can be a difficult topic, and that's why we involve our whole family. So there's really no surprises and no misunderstandings about what our gifts are being used for. And in turn, when we talk about what we always would refer to time, treasure, and talent, on any given year, our treasure is the part that we kind of know ahead of time, whereas sometimes with the other elements of time and or talent, we can fit those in where needed. And then in some years, we have spent more in that sense on our time and our talent, and that's part of giving. That's what I really enjoy, is that we can all share in that. Our many gifts and talents we receive are truly gifts from God that we can share. And thinking about when we can trust and have that faith in God that everything is given out of goodness, it really is just a natural thing to return that in goodness and really participate in all these programs that we have. And I really encourage you to take time and put your heart into your giving. And that's really something that has been meaningful for our family to share that. And it's exciting to be part of Augustana, part of what we share with each other, and in turn what we can share with our community and the world. So I thank you and encourage you to consider stewardship a really good and enriching part of your faith.